Of course, violence is never the answer. It's the question, and how you decide to answer that question tells me a lot about what you really think about violence. Liberal discourse around the issue of violence is very fascinating to me. There's a saying about liberals that I really like. Liberals are for every social justice cause except the current one, and against every war except the current one. And it speaks to the way that liberals like to sanitize the past, especially when it comes to figures like Martin Luther King Jr. or perhaps Nelson Mandela, both of whom are often invoked in liberal circles and held up as examples of the effectiveness of nonviolence. And rightly so, these men made a strategic choice to pursue nonviolence as a tactic, not as a goal or an ideal in and of itself. While nonviolence might be personally admirable, it's only politically admirable if it works. And if it's working for you, that's great, but maybe you should ask the Lebanese and the Palestinians about whether or not it's been working for them. When people like the Lebanese and the Palestinians choose to use the tactic of violence rather than the tactic of nonviolence, liberals immediately clutch their pearls and ask a theoretical question. Where is the Palestinian Mandela? Where is the Lebanese Martin Luther King Jr.? Or perhaps where is the Kurdish Gandhi? The answer is that they're probably lying under the rubble in Gaza, or rotting away in a federal penitentiary or an Israeli concentration camp. You see, the world's oligarchs and autocrats also understand that nonviolence is effective, which is why they often respond to it with violence, leaving the people they are responding to with no other choice but to play the hand that they've been dealt. Why is it considered violence to burn down a Target during the George Floyd protests, but not considered violence to deny thousands of people's healthcare claims every year? Why is it considered violence when someone decides to do something about all of those denied healthcare claims and gets branded as a dangerous domestic extremist, but it's not violence when the prime minister of a foreign country murders tens of thousands of children and then gets a standing ovation on the floor of Congress? So when we talk about the appropriate limits to resistance, to tyranny, colonialism, imperialism, fascism, we have to remember that condemning violence does not make us non-violent. It's just signaling our preference for a safe, structural, and acceptable kind of violence. The safe violence of police and armies and security personnel. The violence of an extractive economic system that is threatening not only mankind, but all life on Earth. If we come into that conversation with more answers than questions, then it often indicates that we're less interested in whether or not violence is good or bad, and more interested in who gets to wield it.